And, thank you, Admiral. I appreciate it very much. I also enjoyed our conversation that we had before Thanksgiving, and congratulations on your nomination. And I'm sure you're going to be confirmed, sir, without any problems. With that, I'd like to know a little bit. First of all, we do an awful lot of the training in West Virginia, and we have had a tremendous opportunity to work with special ops, and we're hoping, as you're all looking into that, that some of the other service branches of service can use or look at our state from the standpoint of the effectiveness and the cost effectiveness, especially, and the location being so close to DC. Uh, and I don't know if you've had a chance to visit some of the operations we have. If not, we'd like to bring you and show you what we have been able to develop here.
Sir, I have not had the opportunity to visit the facilities that you discussed, but if confirmed, would look forward to spending some time with those
We'd
troops.
love to get you out as quickly as we could, so that'd be great. I was pleased to read about the focus you have towards interoperability. I know we touched on it briefly, and this has been in your advanced questions. Uh, Interoperability with our allies is something that I'm sure that you spent quite a bit of time designing, implementing as Commander of U.S. Fleet Forces. Can you describe some of those experiences and tell us how you plan to expand them with all of our allies?
Yes, Senator, thanks. The key issue for me as the Fleet Forces Commander or as Sixth Fleet and Strike Force NATO was to build interoperability so that we could fight together, but not interoperability for interoperability's sake, but interoperability for integration so that we could work better, we could fight better together immediately. Interoperability is one thing, integration is where we need to go and work and train together. So if confirmed as the Vice Chairman, it will be a high priority of me to work with our allies and partners on interoperability as it leads to integration and then our ability to fight and win together.
So also Cyber Command, Space Command are two of the combatant commands that influence nearly every weapon and support system in our inventory. Tell me, if you will, your plan to resource each of them as the challenges and capabilities in these domain increases.
Yeah, sir, thank you. And working within the space domain is absolutely critical and a very high priority. It underpins everything we do as a military, just as our military underpins what we need to do in space. So if confirmed as the Vice Chairman, space as a domain, and it's important to recognize that it is a domain like everything else, will be a high priority for us, for me going forward if confirmed.
I'm going to ask you just a hypothetical question because I know it might be a little bit out of your domain, but with what we see going on in China and Taiwan and the South China Sea, and also what we see going on now with Russia, Ukraine, do you have any comments or any thoughts on that would be kind of helpful in our deliberations?
Yes, Senator, thank you. I think if you start with Russia in Crimea and with Ukraine, it's a very dangerous and destabilizing situation that we're working our way through. It's important for us to ensure that we work with our NATO partners and continue to recognize the challenges that are faced by Russian activity in that area of the world, and then remain rock solid in our commitment to Ukrainian sovereignty, to Ukrainian self-determination, and their larger goals of ultimately perhaps moving forward with alliances and whatnot. I think in the Western Pacific, the challenges are equally important. As we have discussed, that's the pacing threat in the Pacific and in Indo-PACOM, and we're going to have to meet those on a daily basis. Again, two peer competitors, we're going to have to balance those going forward.
Very quickly on the other one, sir. As a commander, I'm interested to hear about any concerns you may have in logistical capabilities or the capacity to surge necessary combat power to any part of the region, but if need in regions that if we needed to combat a North Korean or a near peer aggression, what would be your thoughts on that and how do you think we can meet those concerns?
Yes, sir. I think contested logistics is an incredibly important part of our theory of the fight going forward. I think that's why we recognize that it is one of the four pillars of the new joint warfighting construct. And so contested logistics, whether it allows us to fight in Korea or in the Indo-Pacific or even in Europe, is going to be incredibly important to what we do. We're pretty good at logistics, but there's room to improve, and that's why it's such an important pillar of the joint warfighting construct.
Yeah. Let me thank you again for your service and also your continued willingness to serve, and I look forward to voting for your confirmation, sir. Thank you.
Sure, thanks.